email is a part of the business.
Introduce something new, do something more, do something out of the ordinary.
It's so easy to create ugly emails.
Operation Automation is ready to launch. Prepare to optimize your business in 3, 2, 1, go!
Hey everyone, welcome to the last episode this season. And by this season, I mean 2022. So it's going to be a very special episode because we are going to talk to Dmitry, who understands the both sides of email marketing. Not only the marketing side, but he also understands the technology and products behind it.
And I also think this episode is highly symbolic because I'm not sure if you remember, but our very first episode of Operation Automation has been dedicated to email marketing as well. You can always check it out in the show notes if you missed it. It's with wonderful Rosie from GetResponse. And yeah, of course, GetResponse is about email marketing as well, so lucky us. I'm sure you're going to like this episode. I'm sure you're going to take a lot of really insightful hints from it that you could apply to your strategy already in December 2022 or to your yearly approach to email in 2023. So buckle up, take some good notes, and we'll be back at you at the outro of the episode.
Dmitry, if you could start by basically telling our listeners who you are and what is the angle here actually, what is the most like interesting aspect of email marketing for you at the moment.
Yeah. Okay. Very shortly. I am a programmer who became a marketer through the entrepreneurship. So it was a long way. About 20 years ago, we, together with our friends, built a company for software development. And all I did in my life was about mathematical stuff, about programming and things like that. And I think it was about 10 years ago, we decided that we know so much how to build systems, how to build solutions for marketers. I thought that I'm mature enough. It was a kind of mistake. But we started a good journey, and we started our first SaaS. It was a marketing automation platform. That very soon became the number one in my country, in Ukraine. And we always wanted to be, to be global, to be well known around the world. And it was a time when we decided to create like a lead generation tool for our marketing automation. And we decided to extract and rebuild the editor, email editor, very simple solution. Nobody spent a lot of time just on email editing. And I thought that it's something we can do in 1 year, and it just stay as is and use it as a lead generation tool for our solutions. So we did our first version. And very soon I realized that it's completely different audience, and we decided to keep it as a completely separate company. The Stripe is a different team, legal structure, everything is different. And we started our journey in email designing. Very soon we realized that, a lot of people want to create email, not only for marketing, but just for Gmail, just for sending regular emails. We added integration for hundreds of the systems. So Stripe is a system where a user can create email and then export to any system for sending email. So we just focusing on email production. And a lot of people creating email for Outlook and exporting to MailChimp. So we integrated with hundreds of them. And it was so big surprise for me how people use and how big problem is creating email. I never thought. So at the moment, Stripe is about 6 years old project. We have more than 700,000 registration. And we just returned from Web Summit. It was so good to know how many people you can meet from any country in the world who uses Stripe. So Stripe is a mail design platform. So it's what I'm dedicated at the moment. Also, we have some. Yeah, I'm almost done. Also, we have some other solution in this area. One is exactly editor, but for widgets, it's a Classpo and other solution around email marketing. So that's it. Was a programmer, then became entrepreneur trying to create a product. It's a very unusual transformation. But for selling this product, to understand the audience, you have to become a marketer. And I'm speaking with the marketers for around 10 years, and I pretend to understand them. It's never possible, but close.
Cool. I really like it because you have full understanding of the product, of product development,
Yes.
of the
It's
technical aspect. And it's not that common. Usually there is a divide. So you can either be a marketer who understands like the business message and like, the main marketing message, and you could be a programmer, right? But here you have those two great, career paths that go together.
It's what makes us like a different. Every time I'm in conference speaking about the math, the marketers, even if you mention very simple thing about the math, it's great. Why we didn't know about this? I don't know. Maybe you never was in school because of these very simple things.
Yeah.
But I like math and how it can be applied in marketing.
Brilliant.
And
okay.
Also, and also, very often we imply the things that usually created for developers, and it can be very easily applied for marketers in a way how they think and how can use different patterns of email creation from coding without technical skills.
Cool. I have so many questions right now, but I know that Anna has this one question that goes like in every episode. So Anna, goes to you.
Thank you, Irek. Our listeners know the question. So Dmitry, the question sounds like, what is the one thing in life that you wish you could automate?
Automate. Okay. Yes, it's one thing in life or in marketing life.
Well, it's up to you. You can
Let's
give us
focus
both.
on email marketing. So, the question is so short, so simple. I will try to do a very quick answer, but it's not so short. Let's imagine that one day we can just define what we want to achieve, and the system can do it for us. It sounds like it's a magic, but it's exactly what modern technology can do. If it's efficient technology, it's undistinguished from the magic. And I can give you an example from Tesla. The Tesla, they did autonomous driving. So it's more than magic. It's much more complicated. And what you can do, you can just define the place on a map, and the car can go and be on a time in the best route, safe, and so on. So can we have the same for marketing? If marketer just define what they want to achieve, and the system can do everything for them, you can only, the define high level things and assumptions. And I defined like a roadmap how it's possible to do, and I'm sure it's possible. So if I would like to automate this, I would automate that marketers can think about marketing, not about how to create, how to automate, how to speak with developers, how convince, CTO to implement some data integration, which is very simple. I want marketer to think about message, about audience, about value he brings with his communication, which really is not the case at the moment. So automate all routines they do and focus on the important things. Is it an answer?
It's great to have this business perspective for a change.
Yeah, it's just because I'm thinking about it every day.
I know we ambushed you with no preparation, no questions in advance. So now you have to be very focused.
But as you said, it sounds like as magic at this point, because like obviously everything that you said sounds amazing, but I haven't seen such, let's say, Tesla grade technology in marketing yet. I mean, usually, even if you say that it's automated, it is automated, but to a certain degree and in certain areas, and you need to still like figure out how to combine these areas. So, but if you say that it's doable and it's doable in the near future, I'm excited.
It's definitely doable, but first thing we have to understand how to define the goal. What is a map? So if for Tesla it's so easy, you can we have a Google map, yeah, and it's very easy. It's not necessarily Google, but map, and you can easily define the goal, and the system can find the way. And really, it's not they didn't it in one day. There are usually like six levels of delegation. So the first level, like do as I say. The second, look into this for me, give you advice. I will decide, and I don't know, explore and design within some limits, or just get it done. And get it done is not so easy to have from the very first step. We need to go from looking to this for me, just investigate, suggest something, and I will decide what to do. But the system have to understand in which direction to find the way. It's so easy to get money for me. So yeah, but
yeah, in marketing is usually like bring more revenue.
Yes,
more customers.
And even here, it's easy. So you have an audience, you never send message. You just forgot about them, or you send them emails that don't look into email, but they have they visit your site. You can subscribe them to web push, or you have a mobile they didn't install. You just have a potential to work with them, and the system can look on your results from communication, and it knows the benchmarking. They know that in your site you have less than 30% authenticated sessions. It means that most efficient trigger like abandoned cart just cannot work because of you cannot send them message because of you don't know who is on your site. And you can improve because of on our experience on benchmarking for this industry, for this traffic, we know that your numbers is very low. And it's something that can work right now if we can define the goal, if we can the data, if we can apply the benchmarking, if we can find the potentials, it's already first way to give the right recommendations. We just have to focus on it.
It goes across marketing, as you said, because in order to even like trigger the right abandoned cart messages, you need to be aware who actually left the products, what kind of products they were looking for. And there are like lots of dots to connect. But I wanted to go back to this like email design, because when you were mentioning Stripo, you said that you realized at some point that there are so many problems, so many challenges when it comes to email design. And you know what? I'm a bit, I'm at this point when I actually don't even think about it because I rely on templates. So I thought that once you introduce several templates, you usually pick the certain like category, you can choose the template, and now email design is not so problematic. But I wanted to, if you could just tell us about the most common challenges or like most common problems when it comes to email design at this moment.
Yeah. Just your examples about the templates. And it means that the system is best if it has more templates and more variety of templates. And you can imagine it that it's a lot of lamps, yeah, with the different colors. And you see, it's all the design. And then you choose one and start to work with it to apply for your business. It means that all the lamps just off, and you have only one lamp that you have to optimize for you. You did it once. What you did, you replaced, I don't know, the logo, the branding, the font, then the food, I don't know, social. And you have pretty ordinary template that you already adjusted for yourself, and you don't need any other templates. You just need to continue to work with what you have. And it's a very simple thing. You can order from designer, and he would provide maybe better than from big template list. And he can does it only one time, and then you have your routine regular work. I think that template thinking have to be changed because of how our users just evolution of email designers, email tools. So first, we edited when HTML became popular after just plain text. Yeah, we did HTML. Then we had what you see is what you get editor just with the weak editors, like in Google, just bold, italic, and something. Then we had a drag and drop editor with standard blocks. You just can drag and drop images, text, buttons. But when you drag these blocks, you can create something inconsistent because it's so easy to create ugly emails.
Yeah.
I love
okay,
it.
that's true.
But the next step have to be like working with the content modules, not the buttons and text. A content module, it's something like it's my blog post. And your designer already prepared the creativity that consistent across the all branding of your company. And you have modules, hundreds of different modules for your work. That when you have, I don't know, picture here, text here, all the margin, padding, colors, everything. So you have a modules and you drag in not the image, but the module. The next step is how people, I told you that I'm using a lot of practices from programming. So in programming life, there is a very popular pattern, model view controller, MVC. What it means that you can split any kind of visual data from visual, I mean the design, from the data. And you have a logic that can control them. What it means that if you just prepare the design of a blog, you drag and drop to the system and you provide an ID of a product. And it automatically gets from somewhere the image, the description, the link, and put link into image and button and some, I don't know, link more and alternative text. So already designed everything. You don't need to do the routine work for copy and paste. And sometimes using the recommendation or something, he can already build your latest articles from a blog. Very easy. When you do this and decided, okay, I want to update my design, you update the design and can change and still have the same data. So you don't need to replace it all the time. And the Christmas time coming, yeah? And for Christmas, it's very popular thing for marketer, especially from, I don't know, not for marketer, from CMO who doesn't really understand email. And say, okay, we have to rebrand our emails and add the snowflakes and Christmas hat on our logo. Just do it. It's easy, very simple. But you have, I don't know, 40 triggers and you have to redesign them. Let's think that it's about 10 minutes for one email for testing. For 10 minutes, it's pretty normal, yeah? And 40 triggers, 400 minutes. And then when the Christmas gone, you have to rebuild this. So many routine work, everybody hates it. And it's why nobody updates their design very often, even if they know that design sucks.
Okay, I understand it.
You have with the module, when the data and design are different, you can just update the module and say, okay, update a header and footer and background styling. And you can say, update it in all my emails, where this footer, or just choose list of emails. And it just updated in 1 minute. So you have to think not about the buttons, text, images. You have to think about some consistent, holistic process for email creation. And by the way, it's what we do in Stripe. You can have modules, you can have synchronized modules, you can do all the stuff when you split the data and design. It's just a few seconds of promotion.
Cool. I guess what you're saying is that the most important things for email design nowadays are coherency, cohesiveness, and this sort of possibility for automation. But would you say that there are some specific modules or specific parts of modules that are universal for every business, that, I don't know, everybody's going to need a CTA, for example, in every single email?
Yeah, so it's a lot of tricks. Everybody knows it. Always you have to have a preheader. Always you have a call to action button in the first screen. Also, always you have to optimize for mobile. Blah 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 blah. It's everybody knows. It's so easy to get, but not everybody use. Especially there are some tricks. Again, it's why I don't know why they use. There is a Google annotations for promotional emails. It's very clever thing and great idea. Just very quick about the idea. All the promotional emails they put on promotional tab and sort this email for customers by the delivery date. Yeah, it's not a good way to work with promotions. For promotion, I want to have the actual more efficient for me. I don't know with it, but I have them sorted the same way as a priority emails. And Google said, okay, it's not a good thing. It would be great if we know if the promotion is expired. Why we have to show it? It's already expired. So they did, okay, we have to know the time it works. And it will be great to know the discounts that it gives or some other thing. And they say, it would be good if you extend your email coding with this data, and we will analyze this and we'll show the best promotional on your desktop. Great idea that have to improve user experience. But nobody uses. Why? Because of nobody understands this annotation in email. You have to add something in your editor, in a code, how to do this, and some would maybe even cut it. It's under control. So I think it's kind of our mission just to improve experience working with email for everybody, for recipients, for brands, for vendors. And it's so easy if you have UI for this. UI for creating annotation. You don't need to be technical. It's first kind of thing. Second, pre-header. Everybody should have a pre-header. So easy. So it's just something that adds value to your subject line. Yes, easy. But again, how to create it? Because if I don't want to add the first text in my email, I want to have it hidden. But I have to be technical. Even if I did it technically, in my designer, I don't see it. And certainly for the next email, I can forget to change it. So it has to be extracted into like additional subject line pre-header that it's outside of email, and you can control it. You will always remember, and you can put it in email automatically as a hidden pre-header if you want. So many things like this. I don't know. If you would not stop me, I will continue. But you told about the best practices for email design. Well, certainly, you also should, I don't know, don't write a big emails because of Gmail would cut it. You have to don't use animation when you have two animations that screen in the same time because of I don't know. I always also say about the accessibility, which is everybody ignores. I just trying to think about something not very obvious. Like use big font because of it's hard to read. Don't do a lot of text. People read it very quick. So accessibility, I don't know, but a lot of people just ignore it, or I don't know, they don't know about this. Just quick story. We are here about the story or about the web. Story is a good thing here.
Yeah, definitely. This is perfect for a podcast. So let's go with the story.
Yeah, a lot of people speak about usability, and I never found any article that has efficiency like KPI. And I tried to find it, tried to test. It's hard to test. And I asked our marketer to prepare an article about accessibility. And when he worked, she worked with the article. She started to think, okay, I have a nephew. He really doesn't like to read, and we push him to read. And sometimes he's reading, sometimes he just, I don't know, he don't want to read. And they did investigation, and he was affected by dyslexia. Just for 12 years, nobody knew. They just pushed him to read, it was hard. It's not because of he's lazy, how they thought. And so many people around us have dyslexia or some, I don't know, daltonism or something like this. And we have to care about this when we prepare our emails. Just think how easy. I had a partner from UK. We started to work with him. I didn't know that he's daltonic, and he can have, I don't know, 200 different grades of over gray. He can understand the difference. I don't, but he's living in London. First of all, not London, Ipswich, but it's like a gray all the time.
And the second, I haven't thought about that.
Yes, and the second, it's hard for him to find difference between green and red. And when we have in design red and green together, so we just need to understand that it's the same color for a lot of people.
Wow. Well, now when you mentioned the weather, because I live in Poland, so actually probably I also can distinguish between different types of gray, because for half a year at least, we don't have much sun.
No, but I think it's fascinating that you're talking about these things, accessibility in particular, because I know that nowadays such problems as you've mentioned, daltonism, dyslexia, I can also add perhaps ADHD, which I imagine is a problem with concentration. And it's important to reflect on those things in every single marketing activity that you're doing, not only email, but as we all know, and we both represent software that works predominantly with email, it's one of the best channels to connect with customers. So it's especially important to take those things into consideration, to take as many types of users you might be dealing with. For example, I was sitting on a question now that I personally really enjoy using GIFs in emails. I guess it goes not so well for performance, but again, speaking from the ADHD perspective, I think it could be kind of positive because it catches your eye better, it draws your attention in, stuff like that. What do you think about that?
It is. It's what I started to mention. So GIFs good, especially if it's not a lot of elements flashing in the same time. Usually it's good, especially in email, and especially to minify the size as well. If I don't know, it was Halloween, and I don't know, when the spider just goes up and down, no, down and up. You don't need to have a GIF for all the promotional. It get an attention. But when it flashes, and especially if you have one GIF here and another GIF in another side of email in the same screen, some people like epileptic people, you have to care about I don't know how they can react on this. Especially even for me, when there are a lot of animation in different places, I feel myself bad. So we have to care about this. It's important.
Yeah. I think it's also important to talk about it. So that's a good thing we're doing.
Yes, it's definitely this. And I don't know, it's hard to explain designer that don't do a lot of animation. He thinks that a good idea, it's very often, but we can say the size have to be optimized for email because of you created a great design, but not everybody would see it just because of its lowering. They would skip email. And for this, it's better if you split your picture, I don't know, two parts. Some has animation, some doesn't have animation. And also, we had an review in one Slack channel. Maybe you all know about the email geek community, the biggest community, where people discuss email design and email performance and everything. And there were discussion about accessibility. Is it better to align text by center or by left? Or just people who has a problem with dyslexia cannot read if it's central aligned, especially if it's a text. And if you don't have a dots at the end of the list, a numeric list. So it's problem to read. And there was a review, and one of the very honored, I don't know, part of the community. Maybe you know him, Mark Robbins. Okay, don't, and they speak, is it readable or not? He's like, I am a person who cannot read this because of has this disease. So just I ignore them. But I don't know, uh, when you speak, when you discuss things about email, you never can think that it is a problem for people. There are so many people, we have to care. They just skip it. It's hard to read. They can read, but for promotional emails, they don't want to spend so much energy. And therefore, just for reading promotional, I don't know, some bullshit. Sorry for that.
No worries. Yeah, I think I've set us our rating for explicit by mistake anyway, so feel free to swear.
I think that it's always good to test it because, as you said, sometimes if you have like entertaining gifs, amazing design, and so many things is like going on in the template, so you can look at the template and you see that it's nice, but you don't focus on the message. So you don't follow the call to action. From the business perspective, this email is not efficient at all, but it looks nice.
Exactly. It's so common mistakes. I will say you why. Because of especially big companies, it's only not one person who works with email. First, they have a requirement. You have to do something. Copywriter did something. Designer did something. And designer is focusing very often. Its biggest mistake. They're focusing on design, not on the value at all. It must look good. And we did a course for email design for Udemy. It's not published yet. It was just a few weeks ago. And I was provided with the slides that have to support my session, my lessons. If you would only see. So it's a great design, but it's not about what I said. It has like some elements of things I display, but it just let you give very simple thing. The slide about me. So I don't need to put you in context here. Just about me, and it was two pictures there. On one picture, the great picture where was three people, one of them me, and another two people, one of them me. So they don't know who am I. So but if there is a picture with me twice, you have to understand who is the person who is in both pictures. And also, it was a Udemy course for Stripe. And on the picture, it was, I don't know, it was a stand for Litmus ones, another for Nifty Images, another for some other brands. Guys, okay, we're doing the course for Stripe, and I am an author. Please just think about the value. They rebuilt it, but it was only me without LinkedIn profile, without. So, okay, the goal to connect, to explain, to just, they have to understand. Yes.
Okay, you're right. That sometimes you have this decision-making process that, well, basically you have several people who look at this from like a narrow perspective, and sometimes it might get lost. Like the whole idea might suffer.
I'm just thinking about the example you brought up that there were two pictures with a few people in the pictures, and there was one, I think it was a tweet by Blake Lively or Ryan Reynolds, one of them, because there was a picture with Blake Lively and a male reporter next to her, and the caption said, Blake Lively left. And the whole joke was about like, thank you for specifying. But at the same time, there are people who have no idea who Blake Lively is. They have no idea whether she's female or not because Blake is like a gender neutral name. So in fact, it was accessible, but it turned into this huge joke. I know that another big part of what we wanted to talk about was about actually engaging the user. And that is something you brought up called it email gamification. Would you be okay talking about that?
Yeah, it's my favorite.
It used to be a huge topic for some time, but then we stopped talking about it for some reason because we focused maybe on automation more. Like, we had this certain like sequence. But what do you think about like what is email gamification? How do you understand it, and how can it be applied to a business?
Yeah, first of all, it's a very good question. Let's first define what is a gamification. And gamification, from I just like definitions, that it is a process of applying like typical game-like components to non-game activities in order to keep people motivated and participating in the task. So again, just game components to non-game activities, and we have to understand what kind of game-like components what it is. And it is a system like a point system, like rewards, and using teams, leaderboards, like competition, gifting, timers, quizzes, a lot of them, collections. And I wanted to mention several books, but okay. So I just tried to understand this, especially when I start to meet a lot of gamified elements in banking applications, in just the regular serious life, in learning process. In education, it's a lot because of we like to have a fun and some additional motivation to do something.
Of course.
And it's the same in communication. When we communicate in a way that it's something motivates me to do it. So it's not only because of I should get more money if I add, I don't know, a call to action into banner. It's kind of motivation, but we have to understand that it's my work. It's boring thing. It's just I have to do it because of I'm a specialist. But also, if I don't know, improve something and became better than others, and I would be I don't know, in really good emails, my email would be, so it's already some honor, and I'm doing things to have some additional rewards. It's out of business, like gamification that around us. It's a thing, but it's hard to do. Gamification in email cannot live only in email. It's part of the business. It have to embed it into business. You cannot do it. You can do it separately, but it's not very good. So I think that gamification improves our life a lot. And I can see it, especially I have 3 children. Again, story from my life, 3 children. If I ask them, you have to learn this because of when you would be adult, I don't know, you will have a lot of money or happy family or big house or the best car. I cannot say this because of it doesn't work. If we learn by playing games, it's much easier. But you can say that our subscribers, are not children anymore. But we all children. It's unchangeable, so it's like a fact. But we so boring. We cannot spend time. But I don't know how old, more than 40 plus, me. And I found myself playing on some silly thing. I'm not playing games. I don't have, I don't know, Xbox or something like that. Silly things, repeating. And I started to think, why I do this? I have a lot of serious. I'm a very serious person. I don't know. I have family. I have business. I have a lot of things to think. I can read books. Why I spending my time with this?
I ask myself very similar questions often. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if you played Duolingo. I just tried Duolingo, and I did it to be on the first on the leaders board. I don't know why not. Why
That's why I stopped doing Duolingo. I couldn't get to the latest tier because everybody was getting too many scores.
Another thing for gamification, you should set the challenge, but the challenge must be achievable, or it demotivates. I tried in email sometimes the games it was a puzzle, and if puzzle is challengeable, it's great. But if so challenging that you cannot get it, so it demotivates. Nobody spends time with it. You should give a chance. So it's why I think it is important in your Duolingo has a random audience, and they find the people for your audience so that you can compete with them. It's not random. Never do random thing.
Okay.
I don't know. I have throwback to the time when I wanted this Diamond League for Spanish language. And I was spending hours on hours with double experience, with different bonuses, with premium account. And there were people who had like 300 times more points than I did in that Diamond League. I don't know when they got the time for this.
Yes, it's disaster. It's not good. We have to send the message for them. They have to change this. Gamification must be achievable.
So you've mentioned, I wanted to ask you about maybe if you were to recommend one gamification idea or context that you could put in email and try out. So what would be the first one? If you were to recommend people start with gamification, so where do you start?
So first, before I answer your question, I want to say that I prepared a kind of book about gamification in email. If we can send a link to get this book,
sure.
it would be
Absolutely.
great. So I built like a framework how to create efficient game, and especially when you do some clever game, it always time consuming, and you have to take into account a lot of technical stuff to get this. When it's a problem, so it should not be just effective for your audience, it also have to be effective to your business. And I just have a things what can improve your any game mechanic. It could be a lot of mechanics like a carousel or just idea for spin and win or scratching things or quizzes or everything. How to improve the mechanic into good game, and there are 7 things that have to be added into game, like a goal, rule, feedback system. It have to be characters there, how to involve community, a discovery there. So there are a lot of things to improve the game for recipients, but also you have to improve game for businesses. You have to reduce development cost, speed of implementation, just skills you should use for this, how you measure result, how you can be dependent on other teammates, because of if a lot of people involved in it could be disaster. You have to wait, you have to agree, you have to, and how you scale your idea into other games, into other communication, to reuse it several times with the different ideas. So I never can give. If you add spin and win wheel, so it would give you money. So it's the best thing for gamification. Also, gamification is a process that have to be embedded not in one communication, but in all your communication thing. And I can give several, maybe one example where gamification works and how it worked for me. It's Christmas. It's now Christmas time. We are in a Stripe. We are a subscription-based model, yeah? So if you already subscribed, so we even have nothing to make you a gift. So what we can do? We can say, okay, cancel the subscription and have 20% discount for all the life. Or we can do some promo code for additional templates. You have your own templates. Or we have 100,000 users. We can offer them special service, but I don't know our capacity. We are a small company. We cannot help everybody like this. So what we can offer them for Christmas? A pretty small amount of ideas, and we decided to add like small gamification. We added game in email using AMP, and people, it was like a board of a cells 12 on 12, and they, okay, you can create a Christmas card for us. They choose a color and put a dot, or choose a color and put a dot, and they can write the Christmas card. And the best cards like this, we would award somehow. We received 1,000 different cards, a lot. I mean, didn't expect. There were a lot of, I don't know, if you would look at the result, a lot of penguins. I don't know why we have a penguin on our Christmas card. Christmas tree, I don't know. The a lot of things. Snowflakes. So a lot of people draw us something. We choose the best. We send the message to them that, okay, we choose, it's awarded. You send us so many. So it was some feedback. And we found that a lot of people send us message that was redirected to others. So it's not only our customers. So it was just a fun. And I like this because of first, it cost us nothing. We just created a game that make us closer to our customers. They did something special for us, and we did something special for them. It's about communication. So it's an example because of it works only for Christmas or maybe for something some I don't know. For me, it's only for Christmas. I'm not sure it's answer.
But it's a very good example of actually, because then you created this sort of email where actually people can really like contribute. They can interact. They have ownership of this particular space, and you don't tell them like choose between a penguin and a snowflake, right? What is your favorite? But you actually allow them to create something unique, something totally that they decide what to do. But they know that if they engage, they will be rewarded because they will take part in this project, this competition. So it's both surprising and it gives you this sense of ownership that okay, I can do something creative on my own.
Yeah, exactly. And I can give you another example for restaurants. It was a chain of restaurants that wanted to do gamification. They didn't want to do a gamification. They just wanted to communicate with what they can send. The menu they have, I don't know. The menu is not changed for a season. It's a chain. It's not possible. It's not unique. What they can change? The special recipe from Chief. Okay, it's kind of boring thing. I don't know. Almost nothing to say. Just okay, visit us, and we have the same as we had earlier, but we just have great place. So what they did, they added in time by time, they added gamification elements. They can win the dessert. Dessert cost for restaurant not much. It's most margin thing. So the dessert, and they can answer. I don't know. It's a lot of standard like quizzes or puzzles when you have a boiled water and there are several like labyrinth and have several different coffee types like cappuccino, americano, latte, and so on. And you have to choose what would be in the result. So easy. But when people answer, they have a promo code for dessert and something. And they did several games for the audience regularly, and they did split test. And the numbers were very impressive because of ROI for typical promotional email was from 150 to 600%, and there it was up to 1,100% on average ROI. And it was very unexpected that every check was increased in 50% to promotional emails for people who participated in the gamification.
Clever. This is cool. I really like the idea of also like choosing gift very wisely, because usually, well, if you go to a restaurant, you probably will order a meal and then you will get the dessert, obviously. But it just makes sense not only from email marketing perspective, but from the business perspective as well here.
Yeah. Email is a part of the business. You never send email just because of you're a good email marketer. You never put a gamification because of you read the book from me about gamification email. It has to be embedded into business processes. You have to understand why you do this.
Definitely. So there is like a lot of people ask those questions like what is a good email, or like what are components of good emails, right? So good email is like a business email. It actually is a kind of email that works and it actually impacts your business. So cool.
But
Definitely.
I think everything's like this in marketing. So you need to have this business strategy and you're not writing a blog post for the sake of writing a blog post, right? You need to have some business goals behind it, some reasons that drive you and hopefully your audience to it. And I can only imagine that email is the same. I was thinking that the gamification thing obviously sounds like a lot of fun. It sounds like fun to create, fun for a person to interact with. But I'm a very non-technical person. So for me, actually trying to implement it sounds like a nightmare. Is it difficult?
Yes. Can I give you another example from Elon Musk?
Yes, sure.
The SpaceX was in common from SpaceX and gamification and our idea in Stripe. I can give you, because earlier the rocket was and still expensive, extremely expensive. It just cost a lot. And to launch one rocket, it's you have to be, I don't know, to find a lot of funds and a lot of sponsors. And he said, okay, what if we will reuse the modules? Reuse the modules that cost a lot. And what if they would fly like a real plane? You have just refuel in half an hour and start again the same rocket. Is it possible? Nobody did this, but it is possible. And he proved that it is possible. And what if we do the same for gamification? If we already have the module, you have just configure for your needs very easily without any knowledge of technical stuff. And it is in my like a kind of mission as well. We did some modules for gamification. You can just drag and drop and configure for your needs. At the moment, we did, and for the needs, you need to do the same MVC, like I mentioned. The design himself and the data that can configure the possible question. The quiz is a gamification as well. You can configure the possible question, options to answer, result if you win. So easy. Reusable things can help non-technical marketers use ideas, update an ideas, and scale.
Perfect. So essentially, it's about creating different modules from the start. So say you make a module for, as you mentioned, quizzes or labyrinths or scratchers, and then you can just change the design a little bit or change the questions and use it over and over again. I love it. Sounds like a great solution.
Exactly, especially when creating this stuff is not your responsibility. You can find them in some marketplace, or I don't know, in just free list of libraries and blogs.
Would they work for any creator?
Yeah, it's what I'm trying to do at the moment for gamification stuff. We added even academy where people can learn how to do this, how to reuse what we created. And we don't have only now API, user interface for configuration, but you can do it using JSON. It's just very simple configuration stuff. You can upload and it works. So I will explain how it works. I'm GetResponse if it supports AMP at the moment, because of we have to say 2 words about AMP. AMP, great, but it has few disadvantages. First, you send plain text, HTML text, and HTML of your email and AMP HTML in one email. So if email client doesn't support AMP HTML, it would show regular HTML, maybe with a link to the web version where it always works. So your sender, GetResponse, must to support this. In Stripe, you can create whole email, even test it, and then export to GetResponse or to GetResponse 360, and then you have it, and you can send if the version supports AMP.
Definitely, I like the idea of Stripo presenting the modules. And this is it relates to what you said at the beginning, like with the Tesla. So you have the goal. So you want to gamify your emails, and then boom, you have a product, you have a solution that actually allows you, that you have ready-made modules to use in your emails and basically gamify the whole experience. So this is great. And, thank you for doing this, because I think that especially now, as you said, before Christmas, there are a lot of people who would like to actually, introduce something new, do something more, do something out of the ordinary. So that's cool. I know that we are short on time because the topics are so interesting, but I wanted to ask you about the AI, because this was also one of the things that I wanted to ask you about. So we tested in our content team one of the most popular AI content creation tools. So, for example, it works quite okay with English because it creates this sort of like language that okay, it's SEO optimized, even filled with keywords, but still it's sometimes like gibberish. When we tried it in Polish, it's like ridiculous because it just gives you copy that it doesn't make sense. I mean, it is well structured, it's grammatically correct, you have all the keywords, but it just doesn't make any sense. So I wanted to ask you actually about the future of email with AI in mind, but what is your perspective on the role of AI in email? Because when it comes to copywriting, we're not there yet.
I see. It's very actual question. And you mentioned the thing like building the copy for you, like a system like Persado or Phrasey or some other system. They were very popular when they became, I don't know, 4 years or 5 years ago. And now I don't see them in a real life. First, it's expensive. Second, it doesn't work for all the languages. And I'm not sure, but it says that 100% they create their copy better than any marketer. I think that this kind of implementation would be the last one that would be applied for now, as in point of AI. AI in email, there are so many applications. I think it could be first recommendation in email. So it's so you just cannot do it yourself because of you can create the best list of, I don't know, articles or products or your promotions, but you cannot do them person one to one. The second is a predictive segmentation. It's a segmentation where you not just say them, I don't know, segment by gender or area or purchase activity. It's segmentation by, I want to find the people who would buy this category only with discount. So you can have some segments that you cannot do it yourself. It's not just option. You don't have the field that you can filter by. Another thing is perfect timing signals. When you have to send the message in order to, I don't know, onboarding or offer him to go to the next level. Or maybe because if you have to check something, I don't know if we would speak about our users and we need to say them, okay, you have to try modules because of you need to know what is modules. If you don't use modules, you spend your time for nothing. And when I have to ask it, in the very first day, they just didn't get what we do. Or maybe they can find module without us. If you send them in the third day, why the third day, including the weekends or not? Or third day because of, I don't know, if he already uses modules. We need to check if he uses why third day. Maybe I just registered but did nothing yet. So it's hard to do perfect timing. AI does it very well and can do experiments, and you can set the goal. Another thing for AI is just ROI and lifetime prediction. It's have to analyze your customers and find the best audience to suggest different needs. And the most important thing, I think, and your copywriting and I could be part of it, is a customer just journey optimization. The journey optimization is the most important thing in our, I don't know, work because of We should have from new users, we have to engage him, he has to be first-time buyer, second-time buyer, loyal buyer. But sometimes he's, it's a churn in any stage and we can control it. But again, different timing, different offers, different messages, different channels, different languages, a lot of things, a lot of challenges. And as longer we work with it, we understand how complex is it. When it's complex, you cannot do it yourself. You just cannot create 100 segments. And it is a way where AI easy can help us and must help us. But people always think about the magic is, how can you write a design for me?
Yeah. So probably that was my copywriting perspective as a content creator. I thought, okay, so we have this AI content creation tool. Let's see how it can help us. And clearly we saw that it cannot. It just cannot help us at this point.
For now. When we speak about AI, we want to delegate him too early to very important things. Again, we're speaking about the children. We cannot ask him, okay, go and and fix my business problem or build a house for me. And we even don't ask him to go to the shop and buy something we don't know. We teach him, we delegate him, okay, can you do it with me? Or then can you buy something very simple? And then we understand that he can use a public transport. So do it step by step, get the results from the previous step, and then go to the next step. Copywriting for copywriter, it's a message and creativity. It's something, it's more harder thing you can ever imagine. And I think the messaging is a responsibility for marketer. It's not technical stuff. It's not routine work. If it's routine, it can be automated with a system like this, but you don't need to care a lot about performance because of its routine thing. You can do all the right words. Maybe it works, but it's fine. You just don't spend the time on it.
I really like this. I really like this direction of how AI is supposed to help us with manual tasks while we as humans are becoming more and more responsible of the thinking aspect of things, or more deep, more theological, let's say.
Exactly.
And I mean, wow, Dmitry has really mentioned so many cool strategies for the future of email marketing. But personally, I was just sold for gamification. I am all into this sort of things. I know museums are doing it, games are doing it, businesses are doing it. But somehow I've never thought this can be the right direction for email as well. To be fair, I think I kind of underestimate email marketing for someone who works for an email marketing company.
Yeah, definitely. And at the heart of gamification lies this idea of interacting with your audience, being close to the people that you work for. So I think that it's not only relevant to email marketing, but it's basically, relevant to marketing and business. And it's also relevant to our podcast because this is exactly what we are planning to do next year. So next year, we would like you to become an integral part of it. So actually, we would like to build a community around it, and we would like you to share your feedback, provide your questions, and this way we could actually make sure that each episode is even more interesting.
Absolutely, because we really want to bet on this community around Operation Automation, as this podcast has been created for marketers, by marketers, and with marketing at heart. So, whether you're struggling or whether you're a superior marketer, this is the best thing for you because not only can you ask questions and get some answers, hopefully, you can also participate and feel as a part of a really growing tribe. Speaking of tribes, we're going to have a really amazing guest lineup for 2023 starting January. But also, there are a couple of operational changes that are coming. We want to bet on quality as well as the connection with the audience. That's why we decided that it's going to take us a little bit more time to produce the best quality episodes. Now, Operation Automation is going to be released every 2 to 3 weeks, depending on the complexity of the topic. But this way, you can be sure you're going to get the most in-depth interviews, the most insights, and the most relevant materials in the show notes. So make sure to check those. Trust me, I spent a lot of time trying to compile the best things for you to learn from. And yeah, stay tuned for more. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We are available at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Audible, practically wherever you get your podcasts. But we're hosted on Anchor, so you can find a lot of more information there. We're also working on a website, which is hopefully going to be live by the next episode is live, or maybe a little bit later. And there are so many great plans and ambitions for the next year. Trust me, you want to stay tuned. Have a happy holidays, fruitful December, and we talk to you in January.
Thanks. See you next year.
Operation Automation is backed up by GetResponse, the marketing automation platform that's been on the market for over 20 years. Subscribe for more juicy insights. And remember, automate, don't complicate.